Well, everyone, it's time for us to go and take a look at the Google Pixel Watch 2 and see how this particular watch holds up in 2025. Now, this watch isn't significantly super old. It's still a pretty modern watch that you can still actually buy on Google's website, which is still really nice to have. And what I can definitely tell you is that the Pixel Watch 2 is still a very good type of watch to pick up for the most part. These types of watches give you really, really good experiences. And I do think if you are going to go through and pick up a watch, these things are pretty solid. Are they perfect? No, but I do think for the most part, Google did a good job with them, and I still think they're completely worth buying for the most part. So if you want to pick up the Pixel Watch 2, links will be down in the description below. You can get them from there, and you can help support the channel at the exact same time. Now, starting off with the outside, a big thing to keep in mind with their watches is that they do come out in two different sizes. So you can get them either in the bigger size model or the smaller size, depending on whichever size works best for you. So that is kind of a nice thing going on here. Now, with these types of watches, which you have to remember, and now the thing you have to remember is that these types of watches, they don't come out in two different sizes, they come out in multiple colors. But it looks like with this Google Pixel Watch 2 right now, it only comes out in one size. So kind of keep that in mind. It's a fairly large size at that as well. So that might be one big thing you're going to have to keep in mind there, but again, it's not the biggest deal in the world. With this type of watch though, a really cool thing about it is the design language. This type of watch looks so good, and I do think that's a really nice thing going on for these types of watches. Like you're able to go through and get a watch that looks very, very nice, right? Having this type of display on it, I think is really cool. And the advantage of it is that it's like a curved type of display. And that's something I've always loved about these types of panels. You can get up to, I think, 1000 nits of brightness, which is still pretty decent. It's an always on display. And the pixels per inch on it and the whole entire display itself is actually very nice. And I do think that is in and of itself a really cool thing that you can basically get here. Now on the sides of it, you basically get the single button on the side with the other button on the side of this watch as well. On the back side, you get the wireless charging pad, and then you get the ability of basically changing out these bands. So you can go through and change out these bands with some other bands too if you want to. So that is kind of a really nice thing you can basically go on and kind of do there as well. So if you are going to go through and pick up a watch, at least with this one, you do have the added advantage of kind of being able to go through and, pick up these types of watches as you normally would. And it still feels like a very, very expensive stock when it comes down to it. So in my personal opinion, if you're going to go through and pick up a watch, this is a really nice looking watch for the most part. Now, internally with the features, I would probably tell you this is another big thing going on for this type of, watch as well. This thing feels very, very expensive still. The band selection is really nice, but these types of watches, if you're going to go and buy them, they're still going to hold up very well when it comes down to it, because it still looks very nice and it still looks the same as a majority of other watches that have came out since then. So that is kind of another advantage going on for this type of device when it comes down to it too. I'd also say that with this type of device, you have to remember that if you're going to go through and pick up these types of watches, this type of watch, in my personal opinion, if you're going to look at it, it is so good looking. And the feature set behind this watch is also very, very important. If you are going to go through and pick up something like this watch, the advantage of it is that the feature set behind it is so good. You're going to have so many features inside of this watch that if you're coming from like no watch at all, you're going to be getting some really cool features. The fitness tracking inside of these watches is really, really good. You can track your steps, your heart rate, how good of a workout you're having. Those types of things you can go and kind of check out here inside of this type of watch, which I think is really cool. On top of that, you're still getting a lot of other added features inside of this watch too. So there is a lot of cool stuff here, and for sure, I'm a really big fan of just having a watch because you can check your notifications. And I do find myself, if I'm having less time, like if I have like a watch, I'm spending less time checking things on my phone just because I'm getting these notifications on my device anyway. So I think that's another really cool kind of small advantage for a device if you're getting a watch. So in my personal opinion, I think getting something like a Google Pixel Watch is a really, really good idea. I think these are very solid options and they look very good, and they're pretty good watches for the most part, right? They feel great, they look great. And if you're in the market, it makes a lot of sense to go ahead and basically get some of these types of devices. On the flip side, if you're looking for a different type of watch, you can always buy a Samsung Galaxy Watch or an Apple Watch, but I think a Google Pixel Watch 2 is a very good option when it comes down to it. If you have any other thoughts or questions, please let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.